Hi there, viewers. This is Jairson again, back with another episode of NDBaker93. Let's tell a story. The story I'm going to tell today is the story of Providence Haven in a couple words. It's not the full thing. It's really just the newest iteration. What I'm about to say is the result of a conversation I had with my mentor, Nick Anthony Quach, who helped me to realize that I hadn't been taking Providence Haven on as something unique to this city, to this country, or even to the world. I had been focusing on providing a service that many other companies and businesses might have been trying to do. And he helped me realize that if I really wanted to push this thing to the next level and get people to see how unique what we're doing is, I needed to focus on solving a problem that was unique to what we could do as a part of our facility. Excuse me. So he helped me to recreate a sort of mission statement for Haven and what we're trying to do. And so I'll let you hear it right now. What Providence Haven is trying to do is help the world fix some problems that we all face together as a part of humanity. For example, friend groups are often fragmented. After a while, people are forced to drift apart because of work, because of life. In so many ways, the people that many of us hope and believe would be with us forever end up drifting to often the other side of the world in order to do the things that they need to do. Sometimes we feel like there aren't even enough friends for us to have, that we're stuck alone without a community to feel like we're a part of. And then, on the other hand, we can feel like though we are a part of a community, there's so much unwanted drama in our life. We're constantly feeling maybe disrespected. We're constantly coming into conflict with those around us, and it brings a lot of negativity into our lives. Problems such as these are referred to as what we call the Black Mountain of social life. Providence Haven is where you can learn to conquer this Black Mountain by being in contact with others who understand it and who understand how to fix it and deal with it. We started out as a very small movement, but as we grow, more and more people are able to see how we are not just helping people develop their ideas for businesses or missions or causes, but we're helping people learn how to be better humans and more cohesive with each other. And that's thanks a lot to some of our inner philosophies. And I'll talk about some of those inner philosophies at some other point in time. But for now, I just want to say that if you're feeling alone, especially because of this pandemic, or if you're feeling like you need to have some kind of community that you lack, even in the regular life, reach out to us. You can check us out at facebook.com/ProvidenceHaven. You can go to Ri4C.com/Haven to see our directory, where you can get in contact with our Discord, which has our community space where people talk to each other. You can see our YouTube videos on Ri4CTV.com. There's many spaces to connect with us, and we'll be sure to link them below. But remember, you aren't alone. Even in isolation, there are people that are willing to care about you and listen to the person that you truly want to become. We're right here, so come find us. All right, I'm done. No? You have one?
No. I need to interview you.
Okay. Cool.
If you need water, get water.
I have
if you
water.
Need to
I'm good.
stand up, sit down. Then stand up, sit down.
Interview me, and then I might head home. I'm probably gonna head home. I'm hungry, and I wanna go do stuff. Interview me.
I'm running out of batteries anyway, so this has to be quick, like 20 minutes or so. Just okay, 15.
Okay. Go. Do you want me to start it?
No.
Okay.
I'm not going to start. You're going to start and finish everything.
Okay.
So.
No, I said, do you want me to start?
I'm going to tell you, and
cool.
Then you start the show, and you talk by yourself, and you end the show without me interacting with you.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool.
2 more days. Birthday of Ri4CTV.
Mm-hmm.
And to celebrate this, I would like to ask you to do a show to trace the journey of your life from September the 5th, when you was first discovered by Ri4CTV, while you were flirting with a girl in a tree, until today.
Okay.
So you can make it 60 seconds or 60 minutes, I don't care. It's just a happy birthday show for Ri4CTV, and you have played a big part of it. So whenever you're ready, do this and start and finish.
Do you want me to tell the whole story? I mean, I can tell the whole story. I don't mind telling the whole story.
Up to you. I don't care.
Okay.
But I will not interfere or interact.
Okay. I will not.
But you have to introduce the
I will do
happy birthday context.
Okay. What I'm going to do before I start is tell the story as best I remember it and hope I don't miss any parts. Okay. Are you ready? Cool. Hi there, viewers. It's Jairson again, back with another episode of NDBaker93 on your favorite YouTube channel, Ri4CTV. Today, I am preparing a little bit of a happy birthday show. On April 22nd, we are going to be at the 1-year anniversary of Ri4CTV as a YouTube channel, as a series, a show. We are at the cusp of the anniversary of the start of one man's journey to help the world and to showcase the place that he lived in. He has asked me today, as a part of this show, to tell you about my journey with Ri4CTV since the day that he met me until today. It's a bit of a longer story, but it's a good one. So get some popcorn. I'll pause right here for a second. All right, so you just paused. Now I'm gonna tell the story. So I met Nick Anthony Quach, the guy recording this and the guy who started Ri4CTV, back on September the 5th. I was having a great day, in my words, doing a lot of very fun things. I had, I believe, I was in trade school, which was I was looking to get a CDL, trucking, and that day they had canceled for some reason or another, so there wasn't going to be any truck driving. I didn't realize this until I had already gotten to Kennedy Plaza, a bus terminal a little bit away from my house. So when I found out, I thought, huh, might as well find something to do. I was over by this place called Burnside Park when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this girl that I knew, but that I couldn't remember where I knew her from, came around the corner over by this fountain in the area. Um, I felt this familiar energy, but I couldn't remember her name, and she kind of looked like this person that I used to know. So I said this name knowing it wasn't hers, but knowing that it was going to start the conversation at least, and we could figure it out from there. So I called her Daisy. Hey, Daisy, I think is what I said. And she turned and she was like, my name's not Daisy. And then we started talking. And I still wasn't sure if I knew this person. But then we had a moment, um, and we realized, oh my God, you are friends with someone named Zoe, who I was who was a good friend of mine at the time. Um, and I told her that I had, well, to be frank, some alcohol, um, and I was looking to have a fun time. I also had, yeah, it was, so I invited her to come and drink a little with me, and she was totally up for it. So we went and started hanging out by this big giant tree in the area, and we were just having a good time. I could tell that we were, interested in each other in that way. So it was really nice to have this spontaneous, possible new, who knows, romance or friendship or something in between. Um, we talked for a while, and I love rock climbing. I love climbing in general. So I went and got up into the tree that we were next to, and then I was talking with her, and I managed to convince her to come up with me. So then we're up at the tree, and I'm telling her a story about a drawbridge I once climbed, and I'm going into it. I'm a guy. I like talking about things I did that were maybe a little dangerous. It's fun to describe. Um, when all of a sudden this quiet Asian man appeared out of nowhere, like a gazelle in the wilderness. He came up to us and he said something along the lines of, "Hi there, I'm uh, I'm Nick. I work with Ri4CTV, and I was wondering if I could interview you guys." And us, being egotistical teenagers, said, "Of course, you can interview us. You want to put us on camera? You chose the right people." So we went, and I continued telling the story to her, had a great time, a beautiful time, um, in the tree with her talking. Nick really told me later that he really liked my presentation, my ability to tell a story, and he invited me to come and meet with him a different day. Told me about his YouTube channel called Ri4CTV. We said goodbye then, and then eventually I said goodbye to her. And over the course of a couple of emails, I realized that this was a man that I could potentially partner with to run a YouTube channel, which I had been doing on the side myself on a channel called Jairson's Game of Life. And I knew that I was a person who loved business and wanted to be a part of creating something rather than spending my time putting so much money into college to get a degree. I wanted to see if I could create something unique. And that's why when Nick first offered to work Ri4C TV with me, I was really intrigued by the offer and trying to decide whether or not I should actually do it. I remember actually ambushing a girl in the library once. I say ambushing. She helped me figure out what I wanted to do and if I wanted to involve Nick. After the conversation I had with her, I realized, you know what? Yeah, I should work with someone rather than be on my own, because it doesn't make sense for me to um, spend all this time working on stuff by myself when I can see how professional and how serious this guy is about what he wants to do. So then I don't remember how, but I ended up agreeing to meet with him again and this band called On a Beat at his residence in Providence. And I went out there, and I I was working. I was volunteering at a prison at the time, teaching meditation. Because I've just found it to be profoundly insightful, and it helped me develop myself a lot when I was younger. So I enjoy helping other people develop through that tool. So I got out of the prison and got to his house a little earlier than we had thought I was going to. So I actually managed to sit down and have dinner with the whole band. We started talking and vibing. They had music, and I had a little bit of and there was whiskey, and so we started getting loose and relaxed with each other when I had the idea for us to make a little music together. I wasn't really freestyling too much at that point in time, but I had a little bit of practice because I used to do it a lot with a rapper that I know named Tengu, a Providence artist. Check him out, Tengu PVD. But he basically told my time with him made me comfortable enough with freestyling that I figured, why not? I'll do it in front of all these people. And so they started playing music on a beat did, and I started coming up with, freestyles in my tone, which was very hopeful and filled with desire for the listener to feel inspired based off of the freestyles that I create. So we started going and going, and we actually made music for 2 hours straight. It was incredible. I was sweating. I had such a good time. And then they said that they wanted to stop, that they were tired and stuff. I didn't. I could have kept going for another 2 hours. I even tried a little bit to convince them to keep going, but they didn't want to. And that's when I had the idea, well, what if we did this again? I invited a bunch of other musicians and people to just come and dance. And we got the people of Providence involved, maybe at Kennedy Plaza or somewhere. And we just had a great, fantastic time. And I remember that day at the end of that meeting when all the band people had left, Nick Anthony asked me, he said, hey, why did you decide to make that festival happen? And I said, I don't know. It just seemed like a fun idea. I remember him being a little. He spoke in his usual way, which was pragmatic, a little cynical, but honest, which I always appreciated. And he said, doing things on a whim seems. What was it? It was I'm forgetting the exact quote, but he was basically saying that being deliberate about the decisions that I make is often going to lead to better results than acting on an impulse, which I agree with, but I really love that impulse because of the rest of this story. So we went out to Providence, went to Kennedy Plaza, which is this big bus terminal that we have in Rhode Island, and a bunch of people showed up. I used to throw parties before the pandemic, and at that point in time, I was well connected when it came to board people, musicians, and people that wanted to party, which is really all you need to do what we did. So I think about, I don't know, somewhere around 16, 15 people came, and we all stayed together in Kennedy Plaza, some people with didgeridoo, some people with guitars, ukuleles, harmonicas. One guy even brought a loop beat making machine and was making beats as we were going. We had an incredible time dancing, like literally the best. It was so unique. None of us had ever done something like this. It didn't make much sense, but we knew it was fun. And I remember at one point we're dancing around, and I'm like rapping and trying to figure out where we're going in terms of the story. And then one of the people was like, Jairson, there are aliens over there. I looked over and there were these two giant, like, costumed characters. And I just remember looking at that person and going, good eye! Running over to them and telling them, hey, what are you guys doing? Do you guys have names? I just remember them shaking their heads like, no. And I was like, are you guys doing anything? And they were like, no, again. And I was just like, well, do you guys have names? And they were like, no. I said, can you guys talk? And they were like, no. They just shook their heads. They wouldn't say a word. And I was like, can I give you guys names? And they were like, so I was like, all right, you're Captain Farm and you're Galactic Warrior. That's what they looked like. One of them was some kind of weird pig-headed thing that was kind of fat, but like had a costume, and the other was like one of those deep sea divers, but with giant claws on his hands, and he was really tall. So then I was like, you guys are, what's it called? Awesome. We're making music over there. You want to dance with us? And they were like, yeah. I remember us just like dancing over to the group, and then everybody turned, and I was with aliens, and we were all happy. We were just like, yes, this is cool. And so now we were dancing and playing music, and I remember making a rap song about Galactic Warrior, how we like bowed down to him. He was incredible. Just came up with like lore. And then my friend Tengu was rapping and just killing it, like doing his own, like Providence rap. He's got his whole thing to it. We played that song that everyone knows, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I think it's called Somewhere Over the Rainbow. But that was really fun. And then the most surprising thing happened that day, which was that at the end of it all, I had to leave. That was the exact day that I had to go into the prison again to volunteer. So I started wishing everybody goodbye, saying this was really fun and awesome, when all of a sudden everyone said, when are we doing this again? Like, we have to do this again. This was too fun not to do it again. And then my mind was blown away, because I thought it was just going to be a one-off, and then none of us were going to see or talk to each other again about this. We would talk, but like, I just thought it was going to be a one-off. But they were so fierce about it happening again. So we decided, yeah, let's do this again next week, next Tuesday. And we made plans, and then I headed out. And then every week we would meet once, and we would make improv music. And aside from 2 times, we never missed a single week. Eventually we switched to Mondays, and we started getting more comfortable with each other, but the winter was coming. It was getting colder and colder, and we were still having really good time. We were learning how to street perform. Sometimes we were making comedy for the people walking by. When finally it came to the day where it was just too cold for us to keep going. And so I, alongside Elias, one of the members, Tengu, the rapper, decided to think, what can we do? How can we keep this fire going through the winter without things dying? And that's when we did the first time that I now know is what is called a pivot. And we changed our structure so that we could keep going. I knew someone who had a space that you could rent out named Rebecca Foster. Beautiful, incredible lady, strong. She is a dancer and she works at the prison. She was the one who brought me into there. She had a yoga, dance, meditation space. And I asked her if we could do our improv music, our showcase of what we were doing there. And she said, yeah. We came in for the first day. I remember something like 10 of us, and her husband was there. And he came in and sat down and listened. And we had two parts to it. One half was improv music, the other half was improv comedy. And it was just joyful and like a sense of a home. And I think that it was a little bit before this, but that sense of home, that sense of sanctuary is what led us to start calling this Haven, to start calling this, well, Providence Haven, because we felt like it was a sanctuary for us as creative people and as, what's the word? Members of our community. And then as the Mondays kept going on, we at first felt like while it was really fun, it wasn't growing so much. We were having a lot of time with each other, but there weren't many new people coming in. Then things changed a little bit. To begin with, Elias Tengu the rapper brought in a rap group called 777. 777 was a lot of different Providence rappers who I actually knew a decent amount of them from either school or different places, but they had committed to their journey long enough that they were developed in their own ways. And so Nick Anthony and I, as well as Norman, put in a lot of time, hours, serious hours, into creating a concert for them, creating posters and a website where someone could go and get tickets, could get involved, could do everything. Seriously, Nick Anthony challenged me a lot during this time to figure out how to bring someone through and connect them to coming with us. As things happen, emotions got involved, personal opinions got involved, and the group sort of ended up destroying itself. They didn't know if they wanted to be a group or individual brands, and that led them to decide that they needed to split the name apart. And while all that work, while we felt a little tired because we had put so much work into building that up for them, it really taught us a valuable lesson, I think, about choosing what we or who we spend our time on, and making sure that those people are as committed to what they're doing as we are. A lesson that I revisited again pretty recently, but I'll talk about that later. But then things continued for a little bit after 777, and what ended up happening that was really cool was, in order for us to continue growing and for us to help develop our members, me and Norman D. Baker, one of my closest friends, fell into this sort of coordination of him focusing on reaching out to different people and doing advertisements and taking the stuff that we as the internal group created and marketing it, while I focused on the internal members and helping them develop their ideas and their ideals, as well as thinking about what we needed in terms of facilities in order for things to continue to progress. And we went at that for a bit, and it was working so well. We were building. We started having these larger gatherings. Spring started coming in, so it started to feel more open and welcoming to the public, as they could come in and they could just hang outside and listen to the music. We had some of our best gatherings, our biggest days, when all of a sudden this pandemic came, COVID-19. You know it, we all do. And if, by the way, COVID-19 has bothered you or put you in a place of fear, you can always check out Ri4CTV.com/COVID. It's our panic button. It's especially useful for someone who's in a state of fear or who doesn't know what to do because they suspect they may have coronavirus or someone near them may, and they want to make sure they take the right action, not an action out of fear. And that's ri4ctv.com/COVID. So then the pandemic hit, and we decided, alongside all the school districts, that it was time to close down our public events because we did not want to put any of our members in danger. And that's when we realized we needed to make another pivot. And this time we knew what we were doing. We had more intelligence to it, more intention. So we realized that if we were going to make it and continue to impact our members and hopefully our community, we needed to go online. It was the only way things were going to continue. We needed to start creating spaces where people could continue to interact with each other and develop with each other without being able to all come together on a certain day. And that's when Haven Village Live became a thing. We started running a live stream where members could come and talk about their work, such as Samantha Dick, the creator of We Are Human, an ideology focused on helping people who are opposite to each other find ways to understand each other's perspectives, from things like gun rights to climate change to all sorts of different political and social issues. Her time with us has helped her develop her foundation for what she wants to create and build. The live streams have helped her interview people and take care of getting content for the book that she hopes to one day write. And then on the other side of things, we learned that through Zoom calls and live teleconferencing, we could continue to work with each other regardless of where we were. So our members were able to collaborate in different ways because of that. And now we are hitting what I would call a new chapter, which is where before a lot of our actions were a little scattered. Sometimes we came together, sometimes we were apart. Now we're realizing seriously the value of working together and making sure our members all are able to work as one rather than as individuals who occasionally connect with me or maybe with each other. So in this new chapter, I'm working really heavily with Anthony Quach and some of our other members in order to figure out how we can take the potential of each of the individuals involved with us and help them really have a facility that develops what they're doing and shows the rest of the world what can happen when individuals come together to make something bigger.